Hello ladies, Harrilyn here, feeling very sheepish. I want to apologize to you for just completely blanking on yesterday's class. I take pride in remembering things because I write them down in two separate places, and I'm not sure what happened, but I'm really sorry. So I'm making you this video that you can use. If this link works, when you open it, I think you'll have about 30 days to watch it or download it before it expires. So anyway, I'm going to take you through a class, about a 45-minute class. If you haven't gotten all ready with your chair handy, maybe a sweater to put on for Shavasana, or maybe your water nearby, take a minute to do that. And let me just say that today I'm going to talk about balance. We have the equinox coming up, and that's where there is a balance between light and dark in the day. And so it invites some musings on the idea of balance. And the way I'm going to incorporate that today is through yoga poses and awareness, and spending a little extra time on the sides of the body that maybe aren't quite as stable or as strong as the other side, in an attempt to bring in balance. So let's begin by finding your comfortable seat to settle in. Invitation to close your eyes, or to find a spot on the floor to look at with a soft gaze. And let's start with the idea of our seat. So what I'd like you to do is, from where you are, maybe shift your weight forward just a little bit and notice the difference in your hips, your sits bones, and then shift your weight back. And at some point, when you're shifting back, and you'll probably pass this point, but I want you to come back to that point as you are shifting where you felt your sits bones the most intensely. It may be where you felt sort of the heaviest or the most grounded, or maybe the sense of your spine and your whole posture was straighter. This is where our torso is now balanced over our pelvis. It takes a little bit of extra core work to hold us here if we're used to a forward slant or even a backward slant. So finding that. Noticing your breath. And maybe starting to pull the breath from the lower belly up through the mid-belly, up into the heart space, and back down. And finding that balance of effort to move the breath, but not so much that you're straining. Let's bring hands to prayer to start. So I invite you to set an intention for your practice. This might be an intention just for your practice. It might be a much bigger intention that you dedicate your practice toward. This can be for you or someone else. So take a moment, the next 45 minutes. To what or to whom would you like to dedicate your time and efforts? On your next inhale, raise your thumbs to that space between your eyebrows and plant your seed. And on the exhale, bring hands back to your heart. And open your eyes. We're going to start with our shoulders today. So interlacing your fingers and bring them behind your head. Gently pulling the elbows back and pressing your head into your hands. On the inhale, lifting the heart, pressing the head back, lifting the chin, little arch in the upper back here. And exhale, beginning to round the back, bringing elbows to center and chin to chest. And inhale, coming up again, lifting, looking up. And exhale, rounding, falling forward again. And inhale, coming back up, simply to neutral. Exhale, let's bend to the side, keeping that configuration with the arms and the elbows where they are. And inhale, back up. And exhale, other side. And inhale up. And exhale, other side. And inhale. And exhale. This inhale brings us back to neutral. And exhale, twisting everything towards one side. Inhaling center. Exhaling other side. Inhaling center. Exhale other side. Inhaling center. And exhale other side. And inhaling center. So releasing this interlace, give yourself some shoulder wiggles. So I'd like to work on a little strengthening of the hip flexors as well as the core. So you might want to scoot a little bit more towards the end of your chair. And you're going to have your hands on your knees. So what we're going to do is to lift the knee, but we're going to resist as we do for a count of 5 breaths. Then we'll do the other side. And then on the basis of your observation of what side is not as strong as the other, you'll repeat 5 breaths on the side that you want to strengthen a little bit more. So let's begin on this side. So lifting, foot's off the floor, and now gently pressing down with the hand. 5 breaths. Inhale and exhale. Continuing on your own. Probably feel the core firing. And reset. So I found myself sort of leaning back to compensate, try to keep yourself forward. Not do as I say, not as I did. And now lifting the other leg in gentle resistance. And inhale. Exhale. And continue on for 4 more rounds of breath. Amazing how long 5 breaths can feel. So it's likely you felt a difference between one side or the other, so feel free to take 5 breaths just on one side or maybe split it up a little bit. So whenever you're ready, target the side you're either going to focus on for 5 breaths or the one that you want to start with, and then you'll just shift over for a total of 5 breaths and begin. forward fold to neutralize that. So scoot your booty back in your chair. Take your knees wide. Place your hands on your knees to start. And inhale, growing long, but keeping those shoulders down. Exhale, send your heart forward as you fold forward. Really getting into the outer hips, the low back as we go forward. Coming down, soften into it, completely release the head. So now release your hands from your knees to the floor. Extend one arm out beside you, parallel to the floor. And then maybe begin to raise that arm a little bit, as much as is comfortable, into a very gentle twist. Doesn't have to go vertical to be effective. Deep twist in the hips. And back down. And extend the other arm out. This arm might be different, so don't necessarily expect the same. It might go farther, or it might not go as far. And come on back down. Bring hands back to your knees and press in your knees to come up slowly. Beautiful. So we're going to come to standing. Your chair close by. Have this in front of me. Alrighty. So we're just going to come to Tadasana. So your feet, you want them about hips width apart or side by side. Whether your toes are sort of out or whether they're parallel, that's a matter of comfort. Alrighty. And now, pull the belly in to bring the pelvis up underneath your torso. Micro bend in the knees. Gentle lift of the heart. And turn the palms out. This opens up the heart a little bit more. And now notice where the weight is in your feet. So let's shift the weight forward. Come more into the balls of your feet. Shift the weight through center and then more into your heels. And now, come forward enough so that you can feel a balance between the top parts of your feet and your heels. This is Tadasana. Beautiful. Check in with your breath here. And release. We're going to turn to one side. And that inside hand can have your chair if you like. And we're going to practice a little more balancing and shifting of the weight in order to find the balance in between. Alright, so you're going to stand on that inside foot. Alright, again, pull the belly in. This outside hand can go to your hip. So I've got it on my hip. Alright, lift that outside leg and just have it, doesn't have to be tall. Now, if this is really hard and some days are balance days, this is where you stand. If you'd like to add a little bit more, begin to lean forward and shift that knee and that foot back a little bit. And just notice how your foot and your standing leg are compensating. And bring it forward. So if this was accessible, let's try it on the breath. Again, if it's a lot of work just to stay on the standing leg, that's where you work today. Alright, so inhaling here, exhaling, leaning forward, watch those toes. So if the toes are gripping, inhale, coming back up. That means we need to send a little more awareness to the soles of the feet and where the weight is. And exhale, back. And inhale, back up. exhale. Probably feel this standing hip firing up. It's good for it. Inhale up. 2 more this side. And exhale back. And inhale. And exhale. And just bring it back up to reset. Good stuff. Now turn around to the other side. Alrighty. Standing on that inside leg and awareness of where the weight is in the foot. Awareness of the toes, soften those toes. And whatever you did on the other side, we'll want to do the same on this side. So let's go ahead and lift that front leg. So if this was your practice on the other side, this is what you're going to take here. Hand on your hip. And if you took the little movement, do so here. So inhaling in neutral. And exhaling, rocking forward, sending that foot back a little bit. It's challenging our balance. Inhaling up. Exhale. And inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Last one. Inhale. And exhale. And inhaling up to reset. All right, give yourself a little bit of wiggle. And now in the entrance to balance, choose the side that seemed a little more challenging. It may or may not be the side that was weaker as far as the hip flexor. For me, it's different. So choose the side that you want to strengthen for 5. For me, it's this side. And so preparing. And inhale to lift. And then exhale back. Inhaling up. Exhale. And inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Next inhale, we lift to reset. And turning back around. And give yourself a little bit of a wiggle. Feeling that warmth in the hips. Alrighty, moving into Warrior 2. Begin by stepping wide. Both toes are facing forward. And now turn one set of toes away from you. Ready? Inhale, the arms open. Now if you want to keep one hand, the back hand, the same foot and hand can be holding on here. Inhaling that extended arm open and exhale, bending here. So if you normally practice with both arms extended, feel free. Practice the way that makes you feel safe. So if you're resting this arm here, this is fine. And now taking a few moments to notice what's going on with the feet. Check in with that back foot. Can you feel the surfaces of the back foot? Even the underside of the outer edge. What are those back toes doing? Can you lift them? Check in with the front foot. The more surface contact our feet make with the ground, the more balance we have. Nice. So we're going to add a little flow to this that's going to challenge balance. So on the inhale, now if your arms are extended, Both arms are going to come up and the fingertips are going to touch. Otherwise, just the front arm will lift. So inhale, straighten that knee and follow that front hand with your eyes. And exhale, rebend the knee back to warrior two. And inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Two more this side. And inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. Release the back of this forearm to just above that knee. This arm can stay here, or you can extend it up, or tuck it behind you, or even over the ear if your shoulders feel good about that. So wherever you are, beginning in side angle. And now, and we all do this, notice the amount of weight in that front leg. You know, we're leaning on our forearm, right? So if you'd like to work the core a little bit, just basically lift that front arm. You can simply just lift it with the arm bent or extend it out in front of you. Keep the belly pulled in here. You can take this for a breath or two and say, yeah, that's enough, I'm good. Just reset. Take a little weight out of there just to get the feeling of what is being asked of your core. And breathe. And reset. And come back up to your warrior two. Extend the leg, extend the arms if you did. And now straighten that leg. And reset the foot. And turning to the other side, turn the other toes away from you. And now it'll be the back hand that's balancing on the chair. Inhale, the arms open. And exhale, bend into that knee, warrior two. Settling in on this side, making little micro adjustments with your feet. And once again, noting the surfaces of your feet that are contacting the floor. Feeling stable and connected. Check in with the toes. The toes are there as emergency brakes. We should be able to find stability and balance just with the surfaces of the feet. Beautiful. And we're going to take our little flow. Following that front hand now with the eyes. Inhale, straightening the knee, arm overhead. Maybe both arms are doing that to touch. And exhale, rebend the knee, floating back down to warrior two. And inhale, lifting. Exhale, warrior two. And inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. And one more. And inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. And straighten that knee. Bring hands to your hips. Heel toe, heel toe, heel toe, heel toe, heel toe. I'm going to take a little down dog with the chair. So if you've got plenty of room behind you, all you need to do is to walk back. I have to push my chair forward. And your hands are on the back of the chair and you walk back just enough so that your torso, your neck, and your head are in line with the floor. Now while we're here, want you to reach out through the tailbone like you're trying to reach whatever is behind you. But keep those shoulders plugged in as you reach your arms and your fingers forward. And now walk your dog a little bit. Bend one knee, and then the other, and then the other, and then the other. And walking up very slowly. Alrighty. So let's turn to the side again to begin. And your standing leg is going to be the one that is closest to your chair and the one where your hand is. Just take a little step back, but stay on the ball mounds of that rear foot. So what we're going to do here are little pulse liftings for Warrior 3. So what we're going to do is, again, feeling that stability in the standing leg, taking just about all weight out of that back foot. And then try lifting. All weight is now on the front foot, you're leaning forward. And just coming back down, whether or not you touch the ground each time, that's up to you. And lifting. And now from here, maybe taking little pulses. So if you're taking pulses, the foot stays lifted, it comes back down close to the floor but doesn't touch. This is great for the glutes, whole hip area. And then find a place where you can hold this. And pull the belly in. Find your focal point. And breathe. And release this whenever it stops being useful for you. And now reset that back foot. And then shift it back one more step. Alrighty. Let's inhale that front arm up. And exhale, bend into that front knee, crescent lunge. So you're up on the ball mounds of that rear foot. Unless you're super wobbly, in which case you just want to go ahead and plant it and angle it, toes facing out. Float that top arm down, palm is now facing up. And now hands on your front fingers as you begin to open it up away from you. And continue opening and twisting for as long as you can keep your fingers on your hand. Find a place. Settle in. Check in with that front foot, toes, and check in with your breath. Beginning to bring that arm back around and reaching up again one more time. Bring hand to your hip and then get ready to launch off of that back foot to come meet the front foot. Nice. And around to the other side. Standing with that inside foot. Taking a half a step back. Hands on your hips to start. So sending the weight into that front foot, just beginning to get a sense of the weight bearing in this front leg. And then repeating what you did. Maybe you lean forward as you lift that leg and bring it back down in between. Whatever you did on the other side, if you got it up and you did your pulses, let's take your pulses. And breathe. place and hold it just for a few breaths. Nice. And now step that foot back. Back again. I'm going to have to shift my chair forward. My space is very small. Alright, and again, feeling whether or not you've got balance on the ball mound back there. And if you don't, plant that foot and angle the toes away from you. Alrighty, and inhale that outer arm up. And exhale, bend into that front knee. Crescent lunge. Check in with those front toes, the surfaces of that front foot, feeling glued to the floor. And now float that top arm in front of you, palm up as elbow is soft. Fingers are now on those front fingers. And we'll begin that twist, beginning to open that arm away from you. Twisting, following that hand with your eyes. And when you can't follow it anymore, this is where you work and breathe. Front arm back around, and once more, ta-da. And then bringing this arm to your hip and preparing to launch off of that back foot. 3, 2, 1. Aha. Good. Give it a wiggle and a shake. Let's take one more little down dog here before we have a seat. So walking the feet back. Want to find a place where our torso is pretty much parallel with the floor and our legs are perpendicular. So our legs are not on a slant. They're as though we're standing. And bringing the neck and the head in line with the arms. And again, reaching out through the tailbone, growing long through the spine. Countering that by keeping the shoulders plugged in, arms and fingers reaching forward. On your next inhale, walking up slowly. And then have a seat. So a little more towards the front of your chair. I'm going to ask the outer hips to open up a little bit. Taking one foot and placing it just above the other knee. Flex this foot. Hand on your knee, the other hand just at front part of your ankle, and inhale, growing tall. Gently press that cross knee down just a little bit. So if your hips are super tight, this is your work for today. It's just staying here and breathing here. If you feel like you've got more space, on your next exhale, begin to send the heart forward, not rounding the back. You're going to feel this very soon in the outer part, back part, that leg and hip. Find a place where it's like, yeah, I can feel that and it doesn't hurt. This is where you breathe. Inhale brings you back upright, and continue crossing this leg over here. Now, if that's not comfortable on your knees, just keep them here. If they are, take the opposite hand to the top knee and place it outside of that knee, and reach around with the other arm, doing a seated twist. tall. And exhale, turning in the opposite direction that that top knee is facing. Use that hand on the knee to gently turn the shoulders and turning the head as much as is comfortable. And breathe. Next exhale brings the head back around, release the arms, and return the legs to neutral. Taking that other foot, placing it just atop the knee, resting the hands as we did on the other side, flexing that top foot, gentle pressure down just a little bit on that top leg, and inhale, growing tall. So maybe this is where you're working today. I can already feel the activation in my hip without even folding forward. If you want to give it a try, go for half an inch. So on your next exhale, sending your heart forward, flat back. Find a place where, yeah, you've got some sensation, but it's not hurting. And this is where we'll breathe a little bit. Next inhale brings us back up. And you'll take that same configuration with the legs on the other side. Maybe this leg stayed here for your twist, or maybe you crossed it over. Again, getting your hands in position and inhaling, growing tall. Exhaling, begin twisting away. That pressure on the knee allows you to turn the shoulders and looking over. And breathe. Next exhale, head floats back around, releasing the arms and uncrossing the legs. We're going to take a forward fold before we have a little shavasana at the end. Scoot your booty back in your chair. Take your feet wide, hands on your knees to begin. And to inhale, growing tall, releasing the shoulders. Exhale, leading with the heart forward, flat back as long as you can. Soften down into it and completely release the head. So you can keep your hands on your knees, or you can slide the hands down and rest the biceps on the tops of the knees. 3 full breaths here. And slide the hands back to the tops of the knees and press into the tops to bring yourself up. And preparing for a shavasana, whether you do this in your chair or whether you want to take a minute to lie down. Finding a position of comfort where the spine can be straight, whether you're lying down or seated. So I'll give you a minute or two. And then finding your posture, whether it's hands on your knees, whether it's hands on your belly, whether crossing over your heart. Make a decision. What feels good today for your hands? And invitation to close the eyes. That's one more time. Check into that breath, pulling from the low belly up, lifting the heart at the end, and back down. So this can be a time of contemplative prayer, where you're simply listening to Source. It can be a time where you have a mantra or a prayer that you like to repeat. Or maybe it's just sitting in silence, allowing the thoughts to come and encouraging them to keep going rather than following them down a rabbit hole. So whatever you want to practice today, we'll be here for about 2.5 minutes. Take 2 more full breaths, and then bring your hands to prayer. Loka samista sukhi no bhavantu. May you and all beings everywhere be happy and free. May the thoughts, words, and actions of our own lives contribute in some way to that happiness and that freedom for all. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. The light in me honors the light in each of you. Namaste. Thank you for watching this recording and allowing me to begin to atone for my gaffe the other day. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And depending on what that link says, you might be able to download this if this is helpful, or just make sure you watch it. I think in the next 30 days is what you have before it just goes away. Lovely to see you, and I will see you next week, I promise. Bye.